Communication styles between men and women. Communication styles between men and women can be different in many ways. Women tend to be more expressive and emotional while men are more reserved and logical. In order to achieve better communication, it is important to understand the other person's style of communication. Exchanges between people may be more effective if the dialogue is tailored to the other person's style. In order to understand a person's communication style, it is important to first understand the 6 styles of human communication, based on Paul Watzlawick, Janet Bevan Bavelier, R. 1. Good cop/bad cop. 2. Problem solving. 3. Verbal communication. 4. Nonverbal communication. 5. Reality testing. 6. Creating order out of chaos. Good cop/bad cop. This style of communication is used by individuals when they are trying to gain an advantage or avoid blame from an authority figure in a relationship negotiation or power struggle, whether it be with parents, peers, or teachers and children. It utilizes the authority figure as a good cop who is on the same side, and represents an optimistic vision of a joint future. The bad cop, conversely, is critical and pessimistic, representing a view of an adversarial future. Problem-solving people use this style to address their problems or situations that they are in with someone else. People with this personality type are very direct and honest, which can be seen as confrontational. How men and women communicate differently. Men and women communicate differently. There are a lot of interesting studies that show how men and women speak differently, the way they use words, phrases, and gestures. The way we communicate is not just a matter of gender, but also of personality type. It's also about culture and age. The same person can speak differently when they're at work than when they're with friends or family. I have trouble finding words to express my thoughts when I'm asking for help. It's sometimes hard to find the words that need to be there. Men and women communicate differently. That's why it's helpful to talk with a counselor who understands what you're going through and can tailor the language they use to your needs. I don't like talking about my emotions. Emotional intelligence is very important in a person's success. It means having the ability to monitor our own emotions, recognize other people's emotions, and handle them appropriately. I need to ask for help. It can be hard to admit that we need help from others, but start small and see how you feel after talking to someone. Men versus women communication styles. Communication is an important part of any relationship. When it comes to communication, men and women often have different styles. Men tend to be more direct and straightforward in their communication, while women are more indirect and nuanced, and sometimes passive-aggressive. This difference in communication style can lead to misunderstandings that may affect relationships negatively. In order to avoid these misunderstandings, both men and women should work on understanding the other person's communication style better. Communication styles can be learned over time with practice, so it is worth paying attention to them in order for a relationship to grow and succeed. Communication styles between men and women differ in many ways. Men tend to communicate with words while discussing topics or expressing their feelings. Women may use emotions or body language as part of the communication process. Another difference is that women typically ask questions before sharing thoughts or opinions while men tend to share first. Although there are many differences between male and female communication styles, these can be overcome by effective communication. This might be why 40% of couples experience conflict during their relationships. In some cases, the woman might be feeling frustrated by the man's lack of emotional connection or his reluctance to express vulnerability. Most people would agree that it is important for a relationship to have both emotionally and physically safe and healthy components. On average, men are physically more aggressive, which can lead to physical violence in relationships. Women are generally more open about emotion. Women talk more than men. Why? In a research study, the team found that men interrupt women more than women interrupt men. In the study, both men and women were observed in various workplace interactions. They found that in all but 2 of the interactions, the man interrupted more than the woman. The team also found that when a woman interrupts a man, it is usually to ask for clarification or to make sure she understands him. However, when a man interrupts a woman, it is usually because he wants her to stop talking so he can add his input or take over the conversation. This is why we should not be surprised at all by this finding, if you know about how much power and privilege men have in society and how they are more likely to be listened to when they speak. The findings in the study were that men interrupted women more than women interrupted men, while both of them interrupted each other. The study, led by Laura Cray, assistant professor of psychology at the University of Colorado Boulder, showed that women were more likely to be interrupted by men than by other women. Asking for clarification or stopping to let him speak is worth it because they are interrupting someone who has no power and likely has a different opinion from yours. Don't miss. What does it mean when my husband says I just want to be friends? But this study found that men were more likely to interrupt women than other men, and in fact, the amount of interruptions is less between women and between men than it is between people of different genders. In other words, when a man interrupts a woman, it's an act of aggression. Although the study can't say why men interrupt women more than they do other men. Thanks for watching the video.